All right, folks, this is the first video of this kind, so just bear with me. But I'm going to show you how to break down and clean any Glock semi-automatic pistol. Today I'm using the Glock 42, which is a .380 caliber pistol, considered a pocket pistol to some. This is not a sponsorship video for Shooter's Lube, but I like it. I bought the products, so I'm just happy to use it. But this is more about cleaning the gun than anything else. So, all right, like I said, this will happen to work on any Glock semi-automatic pistol, magazine-fed pistol. So the first thing we're going to do is, anytime we're going to break down a pistol, we're going to drop the magazine release button, remove that magazine, set it aside. Next thing we want to do is we want to double check that the pistol is not loaded with one round in the chamber. So we're going to pull back on the slide a few times, lock that slide back to the rear. Going to visually check the magazine well. No magazine, just took it out. Look in the chamber there to make sure there's no round in the chamber. And there's not. So now I'm going to push down on the slide lock lever. Let the slide go forward. Next thing I'm going to do is, in point in safe direction, pull the trigger. Now this is a little bit of the tricky part. I like to hook my thumb behind the back strap here, underneath the beaver tail. So just like that, I'm going to pull back on the slide. And if you see these right here, slide lock levers here. There's one on both sides of the pistol. They need to be pulled all the way to the bottom as far as it'll go. At that point, I'm going to push the slide forward with my hands as I'm pulling it back. So the key to this is pulling back on the slide until you hear it click. You hear that? And also you notice the trigger returns to the back a little bit. At this point, I can pull back on these slide lock levers, pull them down, then I push the slide forward. And I'm going to break down basic field strip for a Glock pistol. Recoil spring guide rod, barrel with lug, and your slide. And this is the receiver. So next thing I want to do is I like to use this Shooter Lube solvent. So I'm going to spray it down, all down inside here. And I'm going to spray down everything, all the parts, to get all the gunpowder and residue out of it. This has been shot a lot. And so you can see by looking in here that there's a lot of dirt and stuff in there. So anyway, so I'm going to spray that. Off camera, obviously. Okay, so I just basically spray down in there. Let that sit. I'm going to spray the barrel too, outside and inside. Setting that down right there. I'm going to spray the slide. Now I'm just spraying the insides. You see where it's wet? Just spraying the insides. And I'll spray the spring as well, all the way around. Now, with my little kit, I got a little cleaning rag. So I'm going to use that to wipe away the dirt and residue. Get my finger in there. Also going to grab I like a nylon brush. Works really well. You can get them in any cleaning kit. They look like a toothbrush, if you see right here. So what I like to do is work this in and out. All right, brushing your teeth, man. Just get everything moving around. Removed inside and out. And get down inside that magazine well. Back and forth, side to side motions. Ain't nothing earth-shattering about this at all, folks. Once that's been worked, I'm gonna start wiping things down a little bit. So that little solvent's all over the outside of the gun. It's okay. Just wipe it off. The good thing to do too is feed this through the magazine well through the top. If you can, grab it out and pull it through. Yeah, you can do that 2 or 3 times if you want. I'm not going to get too much depth here for the video, just so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so that looks mostly clean. I'm not going to white glove that one at all because I'm going back out to the range and shooting these things again. So I just want to get about 80% of it out. We'll wipe off that barrel. And so with this one, then you get a push rod. That works for the 9mm or for a 380 barrel. So let's find I'm going to put that on there. Just going to push it through. And that should take care of it pretty much. All the residue's gone out of that. Like I said, normally you would run that rod through with some white cloth patches. I'll show what I'm talking about. It's not the best way to do it, but this is one way to do it. I can get the patch and put it on there like that. All that dirt that came off. I'll do it one more time just for the sake of the video. These patches can be bought at any Walmart, any gun store, sporting goods store, or if you just have a white cloth of a t-shirt or something, you can cut it into pieces and use it like this. There you go. See how it came out a lot cleaner than the last one. So, like I said, I'm not looking for a perfect clean. I just want to scrub all the residue off, gunpowder, and get it off the way so the thing can continue to operate. So I'm going to go back to this brush. I'm going to brush the slide because that's where I sprayed it. On the Glock pistol there, you want to make sure right in this area right here where the firing pin comes out, I want to go ahead and scrub that really good back and forth there. Get inside these grooves here. You can see inside that right there. All right, so now I'm going to get my rag and try to wipe most of this away. Wipe it off the outside. If you want, you can inspect the sights and see if they need to be wiped down. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But and let's see, I'll do another white patch. See what that looks like. See, there's still stuff in there. Yeah, a lot of dirt. Like I said, if I want to do a really good job, I'm not going to shoot these for a while. I would go a lot deeper and clean this a lot deeper, meaning until I didn't have any dirt on it at all. But I'm not doing that because I actively use these for my training classes. So anyway, so there's that. With the recoil spring, I mean, I've never really found any problems with it. I mean, listen, you're not going to get in there and cleaning that guide rod because you got the coils, the springs wrapped around it. So I just wipe it down, look at it, and if I need to, just get that brush. But like that. So now I've cleaned the the receiver, recoil spring, slide, and the barrel. Now at this point, what I want to do is I want to oil it. Now Glock tells you they want 6 drops of oil on the pistol. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, because this first part takes a little while to do, I'm going to put drops of oil. If you look on the inside here, it's kind of like, you can see how there's kind of indentions there. It's kind of corners or edges. I don't know how you want to call it, but it's called the rail. So what I want to do is I want to put a drop of oil on the inside of that corner, right there. A big fat one, you see that? I'm going to do the opposite side as well. Big fat one. Now at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand it up, because I want the oil to run down the slide on both sides. A drop there, stand it up, and it'll run down and it'll pull down here. And what'll happen is I'll wipe the extra when it gets down there. So while it's doing that, I'm gonna get oiling on the other parts. So the parts gonna get most of the friction are gonna be up here. Okay, and so what I wanna do is I'll just do a little drop right there, put my finger on it, and then I'm just gonna work some oil on those shiny parts right there, okay? Now for the barrel, I could technically use whatever's left on my finger and rub it on there, but I'm just gonna add one little drop because I want it to have. And you can oil these too much. And just a little bit of advice, if you put too much oil on a gun, it'll attract more dirt, gunpowder, and moisture to the metal parts, so it can actually work against you. So you don't want to put a lot, you just want to put a little bit. Last thing I should have gone over is the feed ramp right here. I should have scrubbed that a little bit better. I don't think I scrubbed it at all, actually. Yeah, see how that's shiny and clean? That's what we're looking for. Anyway, you get this drop of oil, rub it on the outside. And I don't really put any oil here. I mean, you can, but I don't know how you're going to get a drop. I mean, I could do a drop in there or something, but it really doesn't. I haven't found it really matters one way or the other. All right, so we're going to reassemble our Glock pistol. I mean, pretty much it's cleaned. You can see my oil is pooled down here at the bottom, so I'll wipe that clear with these dirty white ones. Here, get a cloth here. What I'm trying to do is get the oil at the bottom here where it's pulled up and get it out. All right, so the first thing we're going to do with our slide is add some oil to it. I'm going to put a drop right there. Run my finger down like that. I'm going to put a drop inside there underneath the top of the slide. Okay. All right. So we're going to start with our barrel, and this is called the lug here at the top. And when that goes up, and this goes inside that little circle there. So drop it in and set it back like that. Recoil spring. You got the flat metal side, and you've got a plastic front. And what we want to do is we want to put the metal side to the rear, but we do that by putting the plastic side in first in the hole. It's kind of simple. And if you look, there's little steps right here. Compress a little bit and push it down and make sure it's on that step. Like that. You can see that. All right. Next thing we want to do is we want to line up the edges here with these right here. It'll be easier for me to see this way. All right, and you want to make sure not to tilt the slide up. You want to keep it level horizontally. And pull it back as far as you can. Pull the trigger, work the slide. Now, the Glock recommended function test on a pistol to make sure you put it back together correctly is this. So I'm gonna work the slide to reset the trigger. So you pull the trigger. If you're familiar with what a trigger reset is when you pull the trigger at the range, the gun goes bang, the slide cycles front to back, comes back forward again, all while depressing the trigger the entire time. And at this point, I'm gonna work the slide and let the trigger out slowly and pull it again. If that happens, you put it back correctly, everything is functioning properly, and the pistol is ready to shoot. Now, last thing I'm gonna do is, you see there's oil everywhere. I'm gonna wipe all this excess oil off the pistol, because nobody wants a slick and slippery gun at the range with you dealing with ammo or gonna be shooting. That's kind of dangerous. So I'm gonna wipe as much of that off as I can. You don't want to really coat any oil on the outside of this pistol at all. It's got its own coating made by Glock that protects it. And so whatever is already on the rag and on your hands, if you just wipe it loose, is fine. Magazine, just inspect that. It looks fine. I'm just gonna wipe it off. It'll fall over and everything like that. So insert the magazine. There we have it. We just cleaned my Glock 42, and this would work for any Glock pistol. Hope this video helps. If you got any questions, throw some comments down. I'll answer them. Hope you like and subscribe. Have a good day.